Hi. In this relatively short video, I'm demonstrating the basic authentication and session features of Pollyanna. So I just created a new user in the Firefox browser over here, and this user is backed by a private key that's stored in the browser, and it provides a public key as well. So here on the right, the page header is just updated because there's one person on the server now. This is Chrome and this is Firefox on the left here. So I just wrote something in Firefox and I added a like under it. And I'm going to reply to it in Firefox as well. And now if I go, I can see that there's a thread now. So the threads page has been up, and under the people page, I can see that this activity is reflected in my person profile. And now in Chrome, I'm also going to make a user named Smith, an author named Smith, and it's going to also have a public key. And um, it I'm writing something under that. I have to get rid of my notifications. Um, I'm also writing in something in Chrome. I wrote something and I liked it, and I wrote a reply. And now you can see that there are two threads uh, uh, over here on the threads page. I just rewound the video a little bit. So now on the threads page, I can see that there are two threads. And if I look at the person page over here, so I'm also going to reply to each thread from each browser. So in Firefox, I'm going to, in Firefox on the left, I'm going to look at the people page, and I'm going to see that this activity that I did in Chrome is not yet in recent activity, but there is a pending key over here. So I'm going to approve the pending key, and now the two authors will be merged into the same person. So first I'm going to look at it in Chrome, and I'm going to see that I replied to this in Chrome, and I wrote this in Firefox. They're all part of the same person now. And the same thing is going to happen on Firefox side when I refresh the page. And um, as you can see, we have a zip file. Oh, we're going to try a third browser now. So we're actually going to go to um, a live website. So I'm going to go to hypercode.com, and I'm just going to give myself a session cookie so that I can take actions on the site. I'm going to log out of my existing account. I'm going to make a regular cookie session. And so this cookie session will actually not have much of a profile. It just has like a placeholder profile. And now I'm going to look at the people page and see what's going on there. There are 17 people on the server at the moment. Um, and so I'm going to try porting the other person to this server, at least partially. So first I'm going to take the public key, one of the public keys. I'm just going to copy and paste it in here. And that's going to create a profile for that user. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other public key. Now this server is all, see there are now 18 people. Um, but one of those keys is approved and one of them is not approved. So if I go to the person's profile, I can see that there's one pending key, one approved key, and one pending key. So I'm going to figure out which key this is by um, looking at its fingerprint and comparing it. So this appears to be the Firefox key that's not approved, so I need to approve it from the Chrome key. And so on my first, I'm going to see what this server has this public key tagged as, because it has, I'm going to show the advanced interface and it's going to show me the hash of this public key, and I'm going to, on my local instance, I'm going to compose this approval, which is the hash and the approve hashtag. And I'm going to look at the source code for it, and I'm going to paste it into a write field here. So now if I go back to the people page, so this public key has an approve now. And when I go back to the people page, it's going to say that Smith has 2 keys. And when I go to Smith's profile page, it's going to say that there are 2 approved keys, and there are 3 pieces of activity from this person. And so now if I want to also copy a comment from a local instance, I can copy and paste it, but there's also a handy publish button, so I can just click that publish button and it will publish to the hypercode server. And this page is static, so I need to refresh it. And now I can see that the 2 posts that I republished from localhost to hypercode are now in here. And I can look at them, and I can look at their properties. So if I go to the settings and I click to advanced controls, I can see down here that there are 2 timestamps. There's a signature timestamp and a notarization timestamp. Notarization is when it was sent to this server to hypercode and the server notarized it. And this is when the user signed it with PGP. It also has 3 hashes which all match. These are 3 different hashing methods. One of them is in the chain log. This is the notarization chain. This is like a hashing method with a Perl package. And this is the regular one-sum command line utility. And what are we doing next? There's still a few minutes left in this demo. So we're going to go to the help page, and we're going to look at the data. And so as you may have noticed, the base data storage format is text files. But then accessing text files efficiently is difficult. So what happens is these text files are compiled into a SQLite index database, and the server makes it available for download. So I can, instead of querying the server for the data, I can save the index database locally, open it up in my viewer, and I can browse the data. I can look at like the person author table, for example. I can see how many authors there are named Smith, and I can also run regular SQL queries on this. So I can, for example, look at all the items that were posted by someone who's Smith. What I can also do is I can go back to the website if I'm curious about how some of these pages are generated, like the threads page, which is going to take a while to load, or the topics page, or the people page. One of these I will choose eventually. So I'm going to the threads page, and so when I go to threads and I switch to advanced mode, I can see the query that was used to generate that page. So the query is down here, and then I can plug it into the SQLite viewer, and I can see that I'm getting the same number of rows as that page claims to have results. So far everything is adding up, and the server has not given me any reason to not to question its trustworthiness. The people page is also generated similarly with a SQL query. So I can run that query. Again, this is running locally on my computer. And I guess that's it for this video. Thanks Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for watching.